back with more Barnstable This Morning. I'm Sarah Colvin, and time to talk with our town manager, Tom Lynch. Tom, good morning.
Good morning. How are you doing?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
Did you have a busy weekend?
I did. I had a very relaxing weekend.
Oh, good.
Yes.
Good, good, good. Well, we have a busy week.
Yes, we certainly do,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
all sorts of things are going on. Maybe start talking a little bit about the new emergency center at Cape Cod Hospital.
I had the occasion to go over for an opening or for a celebration of the center, and you know, I saw Councilors Steinhilder there, and also Councilor Sarah Cushing, so along with Representative Wayland, who was there, and Senator Vinnie from Plymouth now. But at any rate, it was the thing I wanted to mention about it is first, it's a very impressive facility. The number of rooms that they have to take care of folks on the Cape is very impressive, and the physician who was behind it, you know, was really very articulate in terms of that they wanted a state-of-the-art facility, they wanted to be the best, and that I didn't realize that there's a very limited staffing that they often operate with, and the fact that it's a big open facility, they can utilize their own time better because they can see where they might be needed or which nurses are attending to which patients, and to have a much better utilization of their own time. It was reported in the paper that they weren't going to open until Labor Day, but in point of fact, I believe it's going to be much sooner than that. I think it's dependent upon the Department of Public Health doing their certifications, and then they'll allow for it to be open. But I know all weekend they had, I had a chance to speak with Van Northcross, who works over there, and the marketing department, and he was giving tours all weekend, and he said just when the staff came in, and many of them hadn't seen it, they were just you know, in awe of the facility.
Wow.
So I think that it's, and I think the thing that I was most impressed about with CEO and President Michael Luff's presentation, and members of the board who spoke, they all focused on the patient care. And they were very complimentary toward the staff and the delivery of care that they give. You know, one thing that you know, in these things, they had a multitude of people to thank, and when it's such a donor-supported facility, all of the donors naturally got their recognition. And through the course of it, they said, and we also want to thank, you know, the town of Barnstable for assisting with all of the permitting and everything that needed to be done. And we started working on this project with them, you know, a couple of years ago. And it does take a lot of time. People often don't see that, but it's all to get the finished product that we saw the other day. And from there, you know, on Saturday, I had occasion to go over to the opening of the Lyndon P. LaRusso Little League field complex, and the new field that was there. And Joe Scott, in his remarks, also had a lot of people to thank. And in the course of that, he thanked the town for, you know, its assistance, whether it was recreation or, you know, our building department, or any of us who were involved in trying to make that happen. And it's, you like hearing that. You know, you'd hear if it were the other way, if we were in some way presenting obstacles, but it's a very, again, this was a very smooth process, and for it to just a little over a year ago being, you know, a dream, to seeing what it was and seeing those kids out on the field, they were just, it seemed like hundreds of them, and all the teams, and they marched down. It's a very colorful, you know, event, but the field was just spectacular, and the volunteers that worked to put that together, it was just, it's really another way that the town comes together to help our youth. So, and
I understand that new field is absolutely beautiful as well.
you know, and I think the remarks that the kids liked the best was when you know, the talking stopped and someone said play ball. And they were ready to make that happen. But I will say also, Steve O'Brien was there, who's been a police officer for 35 years and has since retired, and he sang the national anthem, and that was his last, I understand it was going to be his last public appearance. And we certainly thank him for all the work that he's done, all the events that he's attended over the years, so it's really, really, really good.
And he was the same officer that sang God Bless America at Fenway Park recently as well, right?
On Patriots Day,
Wonderful.
the 7th inning, and did it live, and it was really, he talked a little bit about that experience and how you never know whether it's going to be a taped version or a live version, and but he said it was just a thrill of a lifetime, you know, for him.
Wonderful.
We do have a couple of other events coming up.
We do.
You know, tomorrow at the Osterville Library, the Kirkman Fund distributions will be announced. Bo Murdoch, who's the chair of that fund, is bringing the libraries and the cemetery folks together, because the Kirkman Fund is able, through wise investments and growth each year, is able to generate off about $300,000 in funds that can be used between the libraries and the cemeteries. In the past, it's just been an announcement that I've either made through, you know, e-news or certainly to the council to let them know the various projects, but they've kind of instituted this awarding ceremony, if you will. I'm looking forward to attending tomorrow, and I'm sure we'll have more information on exactly what those you know, monies are going to be used for. Traditionally, the libraries try to use it for some sort of regional things that they might each be doing, or specific projects that they're qualified for. And then the cemeteries are doing everything from use of organic materials in the cemeteries themselves to you know, repair of old gravestones to you know, new landscaping and things of that nature. So it's another valuable resource that we have that helps maintain you know, our cemetery facilities. So.
Absolutely, and I think we'll talk with the chief of police more about this tomorrow, but I understand we're going to get some new deputy chiefs here in town.
We had interviewed 4 individuals. 2 have been selected for the 2 deputy chiefs, and they're both veterans of the Barnstable Police Department, very highly qualified, and I'm looking forward to attending that ceremony as well.
Indeed.
On Wednesday, there's going to be the swearing in.
Wonderful over at the police station.
Yes.
And of course, capital budget talks continue, but work on the operating budget continues as well. It's just all budget all the time, right?
It's all budget all the time. We expect to have the operating budget to the printer by the end of the week. I've been working on my budget statement that tries to frame you know, the principles we use behind developing the budget. We'll be working on that again today, finishing that up. Mark Milne has been cloistered in a bunker trying to get all of the changes and the numbers right, so when it goes to print, we don't have you know, any issues that we need to resolve. I'm finding already through the capital budget that, you know, due to circumstances beyond individuals' control, there's an item that might need to be rescinded. We're coming up with the airport. They've had a couple of instances where you know, they may have to rescind one item because they're not ready for permitting, and there was another just late last Friday. Bud Brielt called to say, gee, that we opened bids and we've got a, you know, rather you know, the favorable market we have been anticipating has kind of been backing off because the economy seems to be moving again, and contractors have more work, and their bids have been a little higher than we might have anticipated. So there's one item that he needs to get on to kind of supplement what he has, and so those things will happen. We understand that through the course of it, but with our operating budget, we like to be as accurate as possible so that we don't have to make any changes when we do that. And then final thing I wanted to mention today was we did have and you can see the view behind us. We toured Cotuit for the 5th time. We have, you know, public officials go down with the Civic Association, with Councilor Jessica Rapp-Cressetti, toured around, and we met at Freedom Hall to first just discuss overall some of the concerns they had raised with us. The big issue was safety. They were talking about speed on the roadways. They were talking about sidewalks that needed repairs, you know, bushes that grow over that cut back. And we have, over the years, been able to take care of a lot of the issues that initially brought us down there. back when Rick Barry was the council, and we would sit and talk about these things. So we've taken care of a lot of the initial items that they've had. Some of them are getting to be a little more complicated now. We looked at dredging needs, and we're working with the 3 bays to look at what some of the dredging is, but then they were looking at other areas that might need that. Those are things that don't take place immediately. You can't suddenly just send the DPW down or someone and take care of it. There's a long process that goes into that capital outlay monies. But if we don't start talking about them now, you can't put them into future plans. So, and then we took a tour. We're down the Couture dock that you see behind us. That light that is there is one of the old Cobra headlights, and we want to replace that with an LED light. And those are some of the little things that we could say we had that on our agenda. They were pleased to hear that. They talked about trying to move the dumpster back because it's right up close to the pier, and move that back. We talked about the dinghy regulation, and at the Couture dock there, they have a 10-foot regulation for a dinghy in effect already. Our new regulation limits it to 12 feet, but there's a special limit at there. And they talked about enforcement. Naturally, we had Dan Horn and Eric Schufelt from Marine Environmental Affairs. So we talked about how we can do a better job of enforcement. So it was really a good tour, and gets us into the village, and it's a beautiful place to visit as well.
It absolutely is.
I wish we were going this Tuesday. It was a little chilly last Tuesday, but
you can always go back, right?
Yeah,
always go back and enjoy that Couture. Well, Tom, I thank you so much as always for stopping by and giving us the update.
Thank you very much.
Thanks so much. Tom Lynch, of course, our town manager. Superintendent of Schools, Dr. Mary Chakowski is next, and we will send you out to look at Couture. We'll be back with more BTM.